Scoffers in the Last Days, a From Egypt to Zion Show special presentation. Peter 3:3 states, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lusts. Are we living in the last days? We will use Bible scriptures to discern what times we're living in. That is the question that we're asking. When you bring to mind scoffers in the last days, you begin to think of similar incidences in the Bible that set a precedence, and they had scoffers in those times before a great event took place. And we will discuss those events further, those that resemble the days that we're living in today. Matthew chapter 24, verse 36 through 39 states, so likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So you see, family, there's in history a time that resembled these, and there were scoffers in those times in the days of Noah. Jude chapter 1 verse 18 states, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time, who should walk after their own ungodly lusts. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having not the Spirit. Family, isn't it telling, very telling of the times that we're living in? Don't you see the mockers each time we try to maybe witness to someone or read the Bible, and you might have a marker, you believe in that stuff, or a scoffer here and there that believes that these things that are coming up on the earth are not real or not truly happening or coincidence. Or they may tell you that the Bible is a myth book. I have had actually several people tell me that before in my lifetime, that the Bible is a myth book. And then they would state stuff like, oh, the white man wrote the Bible to keep black people down. When in reality, this book is actually our history book. Yes, it's very true that the scriptures have been tainted with and books have been taken out of the original Bible. We do know that. But the things that are coming upon this earth and the prophecy in and of itself is a direct relation to the Bible and the Most High's truth about who we are as a people and the manual that He set before us, because that is exactly what the Bible is, a manual of how we are supposed to live. Scoffers, unbelievers, and people shrugging off the truth and Bible prophecy as a so-called conspiracy theory. Family, even us that teach the word of the Most High and those of us who study, we are inundated with scoffers and mockers, our own selves. And some of those scoffers and mockers come from within our own families. I happen to have a son that's a scoffer, and he actually believes that the things that I believe in, the Bible, and the scriptures that I study, and the prophecies and things of that nature, are a conspiracy theories. He and I continue to pray for him that he will be saved and that he will come to the knowledge before it's too late. But family, even if you have some close people to you, some close families and friends that won't do right and won't believe what you say, you just have to keep doing what it is that you're doing, you keeping the commandments, and let them see for themselves by you being that light in the darkness, being that salt in the earth, being that house on a hill which cannot be hidden. We must continue to do that and continue to spread the good news of the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach, known as Jesus Christ. We must continue in that fight, in that truth, and continue to do the will of the Most High. And don't let the scoffers get you weary in well doing. 2 Timothy states, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof." And you can see that in some of these Sunday churches. "From such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth." So family, you can clearly see that these are the times that we're living in. And yes, we are in the last days. Tough times witnessing to family members and friends because they are blinded by the God of this age and his false teachers. And here's proof of this, family. Here are some scriptures that show you that this is exactly what's going on. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 through 4 states, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the mind of them which believe it not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, or Christ, who is the image of God, who is Yahuwah, should shine unto them." 1 Timothy 4:1 tells us, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron." Matthew chapter 24, verse 10 through 11 states, "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many." 2 Timothy 4:3 states, For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. Family, if this scripture doesn't speak volumes to this time, then I don't know what will. Then 1 John chapter 4:1 says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God, which is Yahuwah. Every spirit that confesseth that Yahushua, or Jesus the Christ, is come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. Some quotes that scoffers often use. The Bible is a control tool because it tells me I can't. I can't lie, steal, murder, sodomize, cheat on my wife, and be selfish. They have been saying for years that Yahushua or Jesus is coming back. Well, I hate to break it to you. If he hasn't come by now, he isn't coming. Or the Bible is a myth book, just like Greek mythology. Or the white man wrote the Bible, and the Bible was written to keep black people under their control. Family, these are just some of the quotes that you will hear scoffers use. Oh, there's very, very much more than that. But these are the ones that I know that I have heard. Some similarities today in historical stories documented biblical past events. Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face towards the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the streets all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them? And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and to shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law and sons and thy daughters? And whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angel hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in this iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape there. Is it not a little one, and my soul shall live? And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing, also that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Hast thee escaped thither? For I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities, that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. The story of Noah and the great flood. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was just a man, and perfect in his generation. And Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his ways upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shall thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. And of every living thing of all flesh, two of every sort shall thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. Two of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him, so did he. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female, of fowls also of the air by seven, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because of the waters of the flood, of clean beasts and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. There went in two and two unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female. And God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the three wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah in the ark, into the ark, two and two of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in, male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moveth upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping thing, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. The dangers of unbelief and not learning from our forefathers' past mistakes. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 12 tells us, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God," or Yahuwah. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 19 tells us, "So we see that they could not enter in because of their unbelief." Hebrews chapter 4, verse 6 tells us, "Seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief." Hebrews chapter 4, verse 11 tells us, "Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief." So, family, it is imperative that we have true belief and true faith in the Most High and His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, because without faith, it is impossible to please Yah. So, with that said, family, shalom. Shalom, family, and I look forward to seeing you at the next presentation. And family, if this presentation has been a blessing to you and you have learned greatly from this presentation, go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.